Well, hello. It is 580 week number 4. I'm just noticing that Emily, who I share an office with, her Bitmoji is is photobombing us. We're just gonna run with that. Um, that's fantastic. Before we dig into what is going on in week number 4, just wanted to share the amazing day I had at Hillbrook School. At Hillbrook School. That was a weird sentence. We're just gonna roll with it. Jossie Ross, who talks a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion, came to our school. It's amazing. Like, he's a keynote speaker, been to like 600 schools in the last 10 years, keynoted a handful of conferences, and we hung out with him. Dude, so cool. Our school has a podcast, the Hillbrook Center for Teaching Excellence. If you're looking for something for your commute, it's a bit more kind of academic, although it's still really chill. I don't know if it's fair to call it like an academic podcast, a bit more serious. Definitely talks about like the work that I do at this school. Give that a listen, give that a subscribe. What do the kids say? Like, give it a little, I don't know. But Jossie was in our podcast studio. Not on the podcast yet. I still have to like upload it to my computer, edit it. Give me a week or so. You know how it is with big tasks to do. But talked a lot about being a Native person. He referred to himself as a Native person, so I am copying that. I would have referred to him as a Native American, but he's done a lot of legal work for the Native people. Like, the dude has a Wikipedia page, right? Like, awesome. Spent like half an hour with him on the podcast, maybe as the kids call it, on the pod. I don't know. But really cool. Learned a lot. And the way we started it, which is the way I'm beginning to want to start a lot of things, is 2 questions. And I got these from Annie Mackler. She's the co-host of the Hillbrook CTE podcast. She's the director of the Scott Center for Social Entrepreneurship here at Hillbrook. Her 2 questions when she talks about social entrepreneurship with schools as a way to engage people with that, and what she did for this interview. You ready? These are amazing. Definitely ask your students these questions. It will change everything over time. What matters to you? What are you doing about it? Right? It's good. I don't know quite. I'll think on how I can bring it into 580, because the work she's doing is so extraordinary. There's not the research yet on social entrepreneurship, particularly at a K-8 school, but it'll get there. So, like, audit this class in 5 years, and you'll be reading and studying and researching what Annie's doing. But it was good. Like, lots of really cool stuff. Learned a lot about how to be an ally. The biggest thing I learned, by the way, that I will share, and I actually just asked him, I was like, is this appropriate? Is this like, am I moving in the right direction? Is just not referring to things as my spirit animal. He said that's just distasteful, so just don't. The other thing I've heard other people name is that referring to things as these people are, in my tribe, this is my tribe, my online, my edu tribe, those types of things, wasn't particularly offensive to him as a Native person, but like the spirit animal, he's like, don't say that. The other thing he mentioned, you definitely don't want to say, like, too many chiefs, too little Indians, like too many cooks in the kitchen is an okay thing to say. But learn that just being mindful of what I say and how I say it, and how that really kind of co-ops an entire race, is important. So anyway, it's been a good day. Let's talk about week number 4, shall we? All right. I rarely go off on tangents like that I can't figure out a way to kind of get them in, but just that's good stuff. By the way, Jossie is spelled Gyasi. His podcast, Breakdances with Wolves, if you want to learn more about him. It's good stuff. So, you have some readings that are specifically around the annotated bibliography. There's a lot to do this week, but you'll find that everything really fits together really well. The discussion board, the assignments, your responses in the discussion board, all are going to tie together, and the way it fits into your entire project in 605 is like awesome. This used to be kind of other kind of here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's a thing, and all of this like feels more cohesive. So these discussion board questions have been changed a little bit since I've taught this course about a year ago. So yay for you for being in this group, because you'll find that all the work really fits in nicely with chapter 2 and with this assignment. So you have 2 discussion board posts. Let me explain what those are. The first one is looking at the literature review, the lit review. There's a video to watch, right? The literature review, a research journey, and you're going to share a theme. So the way I like to think about it is as you go through your research, depending on where you are, you're either going to like, let me see both of my hands together a lot. You're either going to try and like, you have a lot of resources, your topic is too big, and you're trying, actually I always imagine it like on a timeline. So, you know, it over time, you're going to kind of narrow it, right? And then you're like, oh, I need more topics, or I kind of ran out of whatever. And then you're going to broaden your theme. What the first discussion board post of week 4 is asking is to say, you looked at all this stuff, right? Like narrow it down, synthesize it. What are the themes? What are the key concepts? Again, for discussion board 1, initial post Thursday, 2 replies to discussion board 1 by Sunday. Discussion board number 2. This is the peer review. So this used to be done back in the day, like synchronously, used to be done like in groups, and it was a really complicated thing this way. And it explains it really succinctly in 3 paragraphs. The idea is take chapter 1. If it was in Google Drive, download it as a Word document, and you're going to attach chapter 1 to discussion board number 2. All right, so that is due. I'm looking down at my phone. My phone's up here. Hi camera, and then my laptop's like directly below it that you can't see because QuickTime Player's having issues on my laptop. You're posting it by Thursday, and then the goal is to actually, like, you're going to kind of tag yourself and say, I'm going to review this, and then you're going to peer review it. So you're going to review 2 people's chapter 1. And what I'm going to try and do in this is in chapter 1 actually turn it over to each other, right? Because you're all educators, and so actually peer review each other at the level of like, you are the primary editor and feedback giver of chapter 1. So don't rely on me, the instructor. This is really a chance to dive really deep into just 2 chapter 1s from 2 classmates and really give some detailed, specific feedback on what that looks like. So you're going to do that. I'm also going to grade it and give you feedback. But the idea, as you're making final edits to chapter 1, and again, there's a cyclical thing, right? Chapter 1, like, we have it, it's done, need to work on it some more, it's done, and work on it. So this is really chapter 1 that you just submitted. Is the first draft of that. So you're gonna get some feedback, you're gonna make some changes, you're gonna submit it again. By the time you finally finish 605, you're gonna have at least a 3rd revision to chapter 1. And based on your lit review, it's actually gonna change a decent amount, as what you find informs what chapter 1 actually is. So you're going to kind of do some rewriting. It's not just chapter 1 is done, check the box. It's chapter 1 is done, get the grade, check the box, and then you're going to come back to it. It's definitely an iterative process, the whole research question thing. So chapter 1 is done. This brings us to chapter number 2. It's assignment number 3. It's called the annotated bibliography. So this is going to tee you up for the lit review. It's super well explained in the Google Docs. I'm going to just let you go ahead and read that. There are some templates and some great resources about how to create an annotated bibliography. So I'm not going to dive into that. This is already a long enough video, and that's okay. Those resources definitely speak for themselves. Be sure and actually go through all those resources. So you spent the whole time just kind of staring at Emily, right? Her Bitmoji is like, I could do like some forced perspective, and I could make the camera closer, like squish her head. Did you do that before? Did you know that you can do that with video, forced perspective, where it looks like things close to the camera are huge and people far away are really teeny tiny? My fingers are obviously the same size, and yet look at that. So you can have like a giant fighting a teeny tiny person. This is not video in the classroom, although that was a fun class to teach. So take a look at the annotated bibliography, tons of resources. Go through that. Be sure and follow the rubric, follow the directions, look at all the resources. They're great resources. They're really succinct. They're clear. Your readings for the week are to look at the annotated bibliography. And so big picture, you have discussion board question 1 with your initial post and 2 replies, discussion board 2 with your initial post, your chapter 1, and then 2 replies. That's the peer review. That's a lot. So just kind of time management wise, really know that that's a lot going into that question number 2. And it's probably the greatest reply you're going to give, the most useful, like actionable feedback you will give to a classmate in this course. So just know that kind of going in. And then you have your annotated bibliography. That is a 40-point assignment that is due at the end of week number 4. So that is all. Happy week number 4. Reach out, continue to reach out as you have questions, and look forward to seeing what you share and the type of feedback you give each other. I really am. That feels like something that you would say at the end if you're an instructor, but really, like, I love seeing and reading what insights you have that I would not have had for that peer feedback. So rock and roll. Happy week number 4.